What's up, y'all? This week on Tampa Talk, a Tampa library that started with 3,800 donated books, a sheriff's captain fired over a cheating scandal, a man crashes cars downtown and then opens fire, and we check in on the ongoing effort that we've been involved in to reopen the shop. Tampa's drop-in center for our unhoused neighbors.
Plus, a big new affordable housing project breaks ground, a Publix opens in a former food desert, and spooky season is in full stride with lots of events going on here in Tampa. So let's get into it.
So what's up, Tampa? It's Friday, October 24th, and you're listening to Tampa Talk. I'm John.
And I'm Dahlia, and this is your weekly roundup of Tampa Bay news, community highlights, and stories going on in 813.
All right, so what are we talking about?
Well, let's chat a little bit about this week in the work. I mean, you've obviously been doing a lot over at the shop as we kind of get towards that soft open. Anything you want to share with listeners?
So we've been working hard to refresh the space. I think we updated you guys that we took over the lease on the space as of October. We've been having work days every Saturday, but honestly, we've been having work days every day. We just have people come in and help on Saturdays. It's just been a real push. I've been putting in some really long hours over there. We're putting up new wall paneling and getting some paint. Which, as of today, we had some painters that volunteered to help us. We got some paint going up. But really excited, and we are planning to soft open the doors. The doors will get unlocked on November 4th. This is the goal we're aiming at. I do feel like we're up against a deadline, but we're looking good to get there. And then we'll dial up services that are offered at the place. So hopefully over November, December, we're kind of testing out soft open. And we're really excited and we're getting very close. And thank you guys that have contributed. By the way, if you want to continue to give to that, if you go to WellBuilt.city, there's a donate button, and underneath you can see a place that says Save the Shop. Well, we still have a long way to go on our funding goals, but we have enough in hand to pull the trigger and get this built out. Been really excited about it. How did the fall fiesta go?
Good. It was fun. Kind of with the shop effort, you've been really in the work. I feel like a lot of time based on our role, sometimes we're in an office doing meetings. You know what I mean? You're not in the work as much as once upon a time. So the fall fiesta was really nice because getting the opportunity to spend basically all day out at the Harvest Hope University area's Harvest Hope was a lot of fun. Just seeing Ross and just Sarah, Roman, just some good friends that
Sarah's out there,
yeah. So it was a lot of fun. It was a great event. The food's always great. Chris and Virgin did a fantastic job with it. And again, just seeing everybody, right? Even participants of programs, right? And it's always so heartwarming that even though I really haven't been at programs there as my primary role for 2-3 years now, and still people embrace you and they're happy to see you. And it just reminds me that I need to get out there more because the energy that I get from being in person at the event
that's right.
is super valuable.
Yeah, and UACDC has been a huge partner of ours, and they actually, I don't know if we even announced that on here. I know there was big news of the CEO, Sarah Combs, transitioning over to Metropolitan Ministries, but then Arturo Puckerin's come in as the new CEO. You got to meet him as well, right?
Yeah.
He actually got to, I don't know if I told you this, I brought him in here this week. I gave him a little tour of WellBuilt.city's kind of ecosystem. We brought him in here, and I just thought it was cool to kind of introduce him to Tampa. He's also new to Tampa. So I was like, hey, Tampa Talk might be... It's actually a couple people I've heard from that have recently moved here that have found this show to be really helpful as orienting them to what's going on around town. So it's been cool to hear that.
Well, that's what we need to do. So always feel free to give us feedback on how we can better improve the show.
So let's go back to this week in Tampa history. October 29th, 1912, Tampa received a grant from the Carnegie Foundation. That's not actually how that's pronounced.
What? It's always pronounced Carnegie.
Listen. Well, we could argue about that, and probably we're both saying it wrong.
Yeah.
But if you listen to all the documentaries, they say Nagy.
Okay, sorry.
Not all of them.
Carnegie.
Huh. Okay. Which, by the way, let us know.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if we could put a little vote here because I also have always said Carnegie.
Yeah.
Carnegie Hall, Carnegie this, Carnegie that, and then I watched a thing about Carnegie. And that literally every single person that talked about him called him Carnegie. And I was like, I think they might be right.
Yeah, could be if it's a documentary.
It seemed like a theme.
Yeah.
The Carnegie Foundation to build it. So everybody knows he was highly invested in public libraries. So this is for Tampa in 1912. We got a grant from that foundation to build our very first public library.
Now you're nervous about saying it, that foundation. But community members have been pushing for a library since 1905. And it wasn't until that grant came through that dream took shape right near Franklin Street on 7th Ave.
So it was designed by architect Fred James, and the building was finished in this is crazy to me. It was finished in 1915, but then it sat unopened for 2 years until City Council approved $10,000. Now this is back in the day money, right? But $10,000 operating budget for it. And so finally on April 27th, 1917, 2 years later, the library opened with 3,800 donated books.
You know what? You said it's crazy to say that. I want to share a story because this is actually one of the reasons I first got into nonprofit work. Not our library, but a guy came in to speak to our class when I was at USF about how he went all the way to I don't know, Zimbabwe, Malawi, whatever, name your country that people go and provide aid to, and worked with he paid basically to go serve abroad and built a library.
Yep.
And he was like, and you're following his story and you think it ends there and you're like, wow, you're such a good guy, you built this library. And it's never was, and then so he went back years later on his own accord, as an adult, he went back to see this library that he had, learned from the community and was so excited to see. And the library wasn't being used. And it's because they didn't have books. So they had built the library.
A room full of shelves.
Yeah. And they had built the library. And he asked, and he was like, why weren't you guys using the library? And they're like, well, we never actually asked for a library. We asked for books. And then people came in and built us a library, but we still didn't have books.
Ooh,
and so,
such a good illustration of the swing and a miss of
yes.
aid.
Yeah. And so it really inspired me at that time to think about the nonprofit work I was doing and how am I building a library when people are asking for books or, so I forget his name now and that's bothering me. But it was a very it shifted my mindset on when we're volunteering, especially in the paid service abroad kind of trips, but even locally, right? This is an example of right here in Tampa. Think about how much it was to build that library. Think about how important it is to the public education of the people, and yet it sits unopened for 2 years because did we build that operating cost into the budget, right?
There's no one to open and close it.
It was more valuable to have asked for less building and that operating cost than it is to let something sit unopened, right? So a little bit of my own personal tidbit, but that building served as Tampa's main library for 50 years and became the anchor for the entire library network we've got today, which is all started from a community vision and donated books and this foundation's ability to support it.
It's an incredible building too. The building's still there. You can go down and check out. It's a really beautiful building.
It's the one in Tampa Heights?
I believe just south of the YMCA right there.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know the name of that road. They said 7th.
Yeah, but I guess it is.
7th does continue. Yeah. So this week in Tampa news, let's get into that a little bit.
So a Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office captain has been fired following allegations of academic cheating.
Yeah, we talked about this a little bit last week. I think it hadn't kind of come to this yet, but the department says that Captain Zuli Stearns, who led the Communications Bureau and Records Division, was terminated after an internal investigation that's already prompted several resignations among command staff.
So details of this specific investigation haven't fully been released yet. The department did confirm the firing, and it seems like there's a bunch of people who are under the same cheating scandal. So it's not
there was a specific person who took all their tests. Yeah. Right. So captains and high-ranking people throughout the.
It's giving Suits like Mike. You know how he takes all the law school tests? Have you seen that TV show?
Suits?
Yeah.
Oh, that's such a good show.
Yeah, isn't that what he does? He takes everybody's logs there.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So something crazy happened this week. So the TPD arrested this guy named Kevin Ariola.
Yeah, that's
Ariola. After a wild incident downtown on Wednesday morning. So he reportedly hit several cars while driving erratically, ran into all these people, and then got out and fired shots at another driver, put multiple bullet holes in this other car.
Yeah, and so no one was actually seriously hurt, which is pretty remarkable considering that car did take on bullets, and the driver actually was able to drive away as he was getting shot at.
That's crazy.
Which, think about a regular civilian, you're just getting shot at while you're driving. The fact that this guy, or the girl, I don't know, kept driving, pulled over, was pretty miraculous. And deputies did catch him nearby. He's facing a laundry list of charges, including attempted murder, aggravated battery with a firearm, and shooting into an occupied vehicle.
Yeah, and then his mugshot, this dude does not, he looks like he's, he'd been in multiple accidents, because he was totally beat up. And I don't think that was from the police. I think that was from running into all of these vehicles. We use it in bad shape. Really don't know, what else behind that. They actually are. That's the thing is they're like, it looks like road rage, but they're actually trying to investigate now because they're like, they might actually been targeted. Like there might be more to the story. They don't know, but the first assumption is like,
no, it's weird to shoot at a car, right?
Yeah, like it was so aggressive.
Yeah. Well, you've also probably heard us talk about this one before. Our effort to reopen the shop, Tampa's daytime drop-in center for unhoused neighbors that was previously operated by Grace Point. But yeah. Yeah, so we've told you guys it's a place where folks can come and shower, do laundry, get coffee and connection. And we've been kind of leading the charge and bringing together supporters to kind of take over this after Grace Point has lost federal funds. So I mentioned this earlier, so we don't need to kind of linger on this too much, but we are aiming to have that reopen in November. And we did get a little, actually don't think it was, I think we found out it was in the press this week when we were kind of going through the news. It had actually been out about a week and a half in 83 degrees. Right. And
but we went ahead and linked that in the show notes and wanted to kind of include that here as well.
Cool. Yeah.
So big milestone this week as the city officials and developers broke ground on the residences at East End, a new 174-unit affordable housing complex.
The project targets families earning between 22% and 80% of the area median income. That's roughly $32,000 to $83,000 a year for a family of 4.
Yeah, 43 of those units will have Section 8 project-based vouchers for extremely low-income households. This is just so good to hear, honestly, because there's such a low stock in affordable housing. So any of these projects, but it's another one of the public-private partnerships between the city of Tampa, Tampa Housing Authority, and a related urban group.
No, it's a cool project to hear. So the ongoing federal government shutdown has now hit Head Start programs across Florida. So some teachers are volunteering to work without pay so that kids can keep learning in school.
It's kind of awesome. Yeah, in Florida, 16 teachers at one center kept classrooms open this week for about 160 students, but those programs may close completely if funding doesn't resume soon. It's part of a nationwide ripple effect that's impacting early learning for low-income families.
Yeah, that's tough because that's daycare at the end of the day too. Like, yes, the education piece of going to school is important, but it's also families who rely on their kids not being with them to then go work,
to be able
right?
to work. Mm-hmm.
And it's great that these teachers are volunteering to keep but they've got families to feed. The families that rely on them got to go to work to feed their families. Like, there's a huge ripple effect. It's not just about the education piece of it all, right? Like, yeah, these kids could go to online learning, but that's not going to solve for the fact that people are out of a job and people need to now pay to send their kids somewhere else while they go take care of their own house.
Yeah, and also just childcare is a huge, apart from Head Start, was just such a limited access thing in general. Yeah. So this next headline I thought was both hysterical to read, just a picture. Maybe you guys heard about this, but a man stole a fire truck here in Tampa this week to go on a joyride and actually crashed into somebody, which is not cool. So 59-year-old man stole a fire engine from St. Joseph's Hospital to take a joyride through Tampa.
So Warren Scudder drove the engine for more than 1.5 miles down MLK Boulevard, hit a Lexus, and was eventually stopped by police near Poplar Avenue. He's
now facing charges of grand theft auto and hit and run. Shooter has a history, they say, of similar run-ins with the law, including a 2020 bomb hoax in Pinellas County. That's wild.
And then to follow up on last week, the USF Board of Trustees has officially selected Moez Limayem as the university's next president. So it does need a final approval from the Florida Board of Governors on November 6th, but it's looking like he's the next USF president.
Yeah, so he previously served as UNF's president and was USF's business school dean for a decade. So his appointment brings him back to Tampa Bay with strong ties to the region and the university community here.
I think that's a really good pick. I'm really excited to see what he does as USF president. Like I said, I just really valued him as a dean, and I just don't feel like you even know who your dean is most of the time. So
that's great.
The fact that he was that memorable, I think will lend to hopefully what he can bring to USF as well. So talking about the new Publix that opens in Tampa's old food or current food desert, it's specifically opening in the West River District. So it's going to be at 1700 North Boulevard, right across from Blake High School.
Yeah, so they say this area was once considered a food desert. I guess they are.
Oh, I guess, yeah.
Now there's a Publix.
Yeah.
And this store marks a major change in the West Tampa neighborhood. The area was previously home to North Boulevard Homes, Tampa's first public housing project, which was demolished in mid 2017 to make way for this new development. So this is part of a trend that you'll see kind of throughout Tampa, where, so central housing projects were torn down. We're on Nebraska Avenue. That's where we have Encore, which is that mixed income housing. We had College Hill housing projects that are now where Belmont Heights is, which is a mixed income kind of model. Robles Park, we've reported, is currently being pulled down, but this one was pulled down in 2017. And so, yeah, I mean, it is that they will be building with certain standards that are like, there's now, because they tore down housing projects, they have to include mixed income. So there will be some low income housing in here, but even as seen by like the building of Publix and this, it's a major like effort to develop and improve the area and create, and then just create opportunities throughout that new development for lower income people.
Yeah. And it's part of the West River Build project, which also includes new roads, bike, and pedestrian infrastructure, and extension of the Tampa Riverwalk, which I'm really excited to see that extension happen because I just think the Riverwalk is the best thing Tampa has to offer.
It's amazing.
Yeah. And when you go to cities that have that same connectivity through their city, and I think that's the one thing we're lacking right now is we don't have that connectivity through some really good neighborhoods, except for where the Riverwalk connects them. And so I'm excited to see how that extends into West Tampa, with all the like interest in breathing some life into that main street that they have down there.
Yeah, a friend just recently moved to Tampa, and as part of like, oh, let me show you around, was like, well, we started at Armature Works, took Riverwalk all the way over to Channel Side, jumped on the trolley, went over to Ybor, and it was like such a great, like, just let's see all the things over here.
Well, it increases the walkability of our city, right? When we have to get in a car to go from West Tampa to Hyde Park to Bayshore to Channel Side to Ybor to Templeton.
So the whole city was built around the vehicle,
Yeah, so it kind of sucks, right? Like, I know I get frustrated sometimes, and I have access to transportation when I don't want to drive. I'm like, oh, all I just want to do is get on a bus or, like, walk, and I just can't do that. And so I think this is another example of how we're going to slowly start to see that happen here in Tampa, which I'm excited about.
Well, speaking of meeting a friend at Armature Works, we got some stuff going on this weekend.
Yeah, so Pied Piper's 4th annual Haunted Carnival is taking place at Armature Works Friday through Sunday. It's $10 for Carnival access and $65 for festival access, because they're going to have Diplo, like Shaq?
DJ Diesel.
But is it Shaq?
Not like
not like the sports Shaq.
I don't believe that.
Shaq's not also a singer now.
That would be amazing.
That would be amazing. I need to kind of find that out.
I'll look this up all week.
So headliners include currently Diplo. It says Shaq, but it says in brackets DJ Diesel, DJ Snake.
It is Shaquille O'Neal.
It is Shaquille. Oh my god, that's insane. Shaq's a DJ now?
Yep. I didn't know.
Amazing.
Maybe we should have known.
That's amazing. I want to go just to see Shaq.
And Lil Jon.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's a great lineup. How do we get Shaq to be?
These are for $65.
$65 for festival access. So for the concert itself. But yeah, it's going through the weekend if you want to go check it out at Armature Works and see Shaq perform as a DJ.
By the way, and I know we don't have a lot of these listed, but like I have a buddy that like I for some reason was talking about this EDM kind of so like also who is that? The Steve Aoki's here this weekend.
Oh, cool.
There's
he's huge.
But there's like 3 or 4 other. There's a lot of stuff going on this weekend actually, just around town that we didn't list all here. But if you go look some stuff up, there's some things going on.
Good music scene happening.
Yeah.
Another Halloween party is happening over at Rogers Park Golf Course, Saturday, October 25th from 5:30 to 8 p.m. This is a free event for families with trick-or-treat station, golf games, music, costume contests, and more.
That's free.
That's free.
Nice.
There's also another free event going on in Hyde Park Village with over 100 artists that will line Hyde Park with sculptures, jewelry, ceramics, and paintings. It's the Howard Allen Art Festival taking place Saturday and Sunday from 10 to 5. And then we've got Riverwalk Trick or Treat taking place on Saturday, October 25th from 4 to 7 with 50 plus treat stations along the Riverwalk between Cotanchobi, I've never heard that park, and the Convention Center.
Cotanchobi.
Which is 601 Water Street, if you want to look at it that way.
Nice.
And then finally, some events that I want to plug just of our own. We have December 3rd, 4th, and December 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, is the Homegrown Hillsborough Annual Conference.
Yeah.
So you can get your tickets by going to connect.homegrownhillsborough.com. We're also looking for speakers for that. So there is a open speaker application as well that you can apply to speak on any food system issue that you'd like. That is going to be $40 tickets for the conference day, and then there's a $20 add-on for the brunch and a $20 add-in for the field trips as well. We also have our own ribbon cutting for our mobile kitchen taking place on December 12th over at TGH Health Park. More information to come on kind of RSVPing to that event.
Big Q4. A lot of stuff going on.
And then you can catch us in the Ybor Street Community Garden from 10 to 12, as well as Harvest Hope from 10:30 to 11:30, distributing groceries to neighbors.
Today.
And that's what we're talking about this week. Tampa?
All right, you guys be sure to comment, rate the show. It really helps. So please just share this with your friends.
We'll be back next week with more stories, news, and happenings from around the Bay. And until then,
y'all be good.